Now 9 right now, and you are looking at a very fast, high-speed pursuit. Let's go right up to Gil Levis. He's over Heavy Sky 9. Gil?
Sandra, 120 miles an hour here on the 91 freeway, just passing the 605. This guy has been coming out of the Chino area, actually San Bernardino area, through the city of Chino, down through the 60 freeway, onto the 57 southbound, then onto the 91 here, and he has been moving at 100 miles an hour at least on this freeway here ever since the 57. He just really took off. Now CHP is in pursuit. They're in pursuit of this vehicle. The suspect inside of this vehicle is a burglary suspect. Burglary suspect out of the San Bernardino area. And you can see how fast he's going. They're clocking him at 120 miles an hour. Very dangerous high-speed pursuit here on the 91 freeway. We're approaching the Long Beach Paramount area. And this guy is not slowing down. We've seen him approach vehicles in that HOV lane and just blown by them, trying to go in between. Now you see him going all the way to the right side of the freeway and then back. So this is how it's been for the last about 10 minutes here or so. Now he's slowing down dramatically there. You can see, squeezing right through there. Unbelievable. He's going to, it's just a matter of time before he rear ends someone at these speeds. And you can see there's the traffic here is not really light. It's kind of moderate traffic here on the 91 approaching the 710 freeway. But as quickly as I mentioned a freeway, he approaches the next one. He blew past the 605 freeway. Now he's onto the 710 freeway here, coming up to the 710 on the 91. So again, a high-speed chase here. Very dangerous, very reckless. We're going to zoom in and try to get a closer look at that suspect driving. We don't know how many suspects are in the vehicle, if it's just the driver or if there's other people inside the car. But again, this pursuit starting about, I'd say about 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago now, out of the San Bernardino, and it looks like he's going northbound 710. Let's see which transition road he takes here. Yeah, committed to the northbound 710 from the 91. He's going to have to slow it down here on this curve, but looking out ahead, usually the 710 freeway has some pretty heavy traffic here, but at this hour it's looking about the same moderate. Look at him taking that gore point, right through that gore point, and he's going to punch it here, I'd imagine here, on that 710 freeway. But CHP in pursuit of this vehicle. They have an airship overhead. I believe the LA County Sheriffs were assisting at some point. The Sheriff's Air Unit was assisting on this pursuit. But again, here he goes, taking off like a rocket on this 710 freeway northbound, going through the Paramount area at this point.
Gil, just incredibly dangerous, not only the speeds, but the way he is weaving back and forth and all across all lanes of traffic.
Yeah, that's, 120 miles an hour through traffic like that, those cars are standing still. And all it takes is one car to make one wrong move, and it's over with. So we're hoping that doesn't happen for the safety of the innocent drivers out here on the freeway. But you can only imagine this guy blowing by you on the freeway. 1 second it's nice and quiet on the roads, and then the next second this guy's blowing by you at 120 miles. Look at him, he's taking the shoulder there. I'm going to zoom out here and show you the traffic ahead of him. You can see he's just making waves here. Now he's up to the 105 freeway here, and he's going to transition. Let's see which way he goes here on that 105. It looks like maybe westbound 105. Stand by, I'll tell you in just a second. Yeah, westbound 105 here from the 710 freeway. He's going to be going to through Linwood. Let's keep it flat. Linwood area now at this point. Westbound 105, and we're having to make a really sharp turn just to keep up with this guy in Sky 9. But amazing speeds on that transition road. Obviously, a pretty good high-performance vehicle there that this guy's driving. But again, it's a burglary suspect out of the San Bernardino area. Chino PD was in pursuit for a while. We handed it over to the CHP, and the CHP has been in pursuit ever since the 60 and the 57 freeway, I believe. That's when the CHP picked it up southbound on the 57. It came down through the Brea area into Orange County and then across the 91. That's where we picked it up, and this continues now into the Linwood area along the 105 freeway westbound. Looking up ahead, same traffic conditions, medium to light traffic ahead of him, and the next freeway that he's going to hit is going to be the 110 freeway.
And certainly no regard for public safety. We just saw him fly by a school bus. He's coming up on a lot of trucks, which we know are very difficult to control. Gil, are you still in the Linwood area?
Linwood now, let's see, he's going to be approaching the South LA area, the Watts area here. But amazingly, I just looked down at the speedometer here in Sky 9, and we're hitting like 130 miles an hour here. So this guy is really pushing the limits here. Very dangerous situation here. You can see him in that diamond lane there, the HOV lane, just taking over this freeway, just passing vehicles like they're standing still. Now, we just saw something fly out there. I don't know if that was debris from the freeway, if he threw something out, or maybe something came off his car, but I don't know if you had noticed that or not, but it looked like out of his passenger window. I'm going to double in here and let's take a look. He's moving around inside that car. He may have thrown something out of the window there, out of the passenger side. Again, we don't know if there's other people in the car here, but at this point, it actually looks like there might be a passenger in that vehicle. We'll try to get you that, but at this point, just incredible speeds here on the 105 freeway as he approaches that 110 freeway.
Gil, it looks like somebody in that vehicle, either the driver or if there is a passenger, moving around some papers, apparently.
Yeah, I'm hearing now that there is possibly a female passenger in that vehicle. We believe it's the male driver, female passenger. So that may be what you're seeing there, Sandra. But again, this guy is not slowing down, to say the least. You can see him just blowing past the cars, changing lanes, in and out, weaving in and out, coming really close to vehicles, almost smashing into them. It's just ridiculous how fast this guy's going.
And Gil, most of the time,
now looks like Yeah.
Most of the time
Go ahead.
when you and I watch these pursuits, we know how they're going to end. Eventually, the suspect pulls over and gives up, but I'm not so sure that's the way this one is going to end. It looks so dangerous.
Yeah, it just doesn't look that way. I mean, this guy has no intentions of stopping, definitely no intentions of slowing down. Now he's taking the 110 freeway here. Let's see which way he goes, southbound or northbound. It looks like northbound. He's going northbound. So we may have to pull back here due to LAX traffic. We have to get below that traffic and get approval through there, but we'll keep the shot on him as he goes northbound the 110 freeway from the 105 freeway.
And this started in Orange County, is that right, Gil?
We understand that it started in the San Bernardino area, came through the Chino area. It initially was heading eastbound. This guy turned around westbound on the 60 freeway, came all the way through the city of Industry and then to the 50, or almost to the city of Industry, and then to the 57. That's where he went southbound, 57, and then onto the 91. 91 to the, I'm losing track, 91 to the 710, 710 to the 105, and 105 now to the 110. And look at him, he's just taking the shoulder. Heavy traffic here on this 110 freeway. As most of you know, this freeway can get pretty heavy at this hour, but he is not slowing down, taking the shoulder, you know, passing these cars, and very heavy ahead in about 1 mile. So we got the clearance through the LA airspace here. Now he could exit at any point here on during this pursuit, and he would end up in the LAPD's jurisdiction at this point. But he doesn't look like he's planning on exiting anytime soon. Using that shoulder of the road to get by. Now, you know, that's so dangerous. Not only cars coming off on the freeway, cars getting off the freeway, but then also you have debris on that shoulder. You have cars that have broken down possibly, and he's coming up at 100. I'm looking at the clock now. It's 125 miles an hour. This guy's going on this freeway with the traffic. He's exiting here. Let's see what the exit is here. This possibly might be Gage. We're going to try to get around in here, but he's flying off that. You see the cars diving out of the way there. He's going to go straight through that street. And continuing now on surface streets in the LAPD's jurisdiction, the South LA area. I'll try to get
Gil,
you a
we're
street
going
here
to stay with
momentarily.
your live picture.
Yeah.
I want to go right to the telephone right now. We have Officer Ramirez with us on the telephone. Officer, what can you tell us about the suspect in this pursuit?
Well, it looks like the this vehicle was initially wanted for some type of burglary out in the San Bernardino area by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. The vehicle failed to stop, continued driving away from the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department at a high rate of speed and continued well into Orange County. It looks like our units picked it up somewhere in Orange County on the 91 freeway westbound. We are now, looks like we got off the freeway from the 110 freeway southbound, and he's traversing city streets in the South LA area.
And Officer Ramirez, our helicopter pilot tracked him at about 130 miles per hour. Is that what you're getting?
That's what I'm getting here on my log, that apparently he had exceeded speeds of over 100 miles per hour, which of course is of great concern to us because at that rate of speed, this vehicle can, well, a lot of things can happen. If he's involved in some type of a collision, there could be some very serious injuries. But also this vehicle traveling at that rate of speed could easily crash and possibly disintegrate on impact.
All right, Officer Vince Ramirez from the CHP, thanks so much for joining us.
behind
Let's go
building
back
windows.
up to Gil Levis. He's overhead in Sky 9. And Gil, it looks like he went behind the building, and there he is.
Well, Sandra, it's really hard to keep up with this guy, which streets he's on. He's northbound right now. We'll try to get that street for you. But definitely in the Florence area, it looks like about Slauson maybe he might be on there. Right turn on Slauson, eastbound now. Exited the freeway, the 110 freeway. Blew through streets there, just nonstop. Cars diving out of the way, as you saw. But again, just really reckless on these surface streets, just blowing red lights, stop signs, blown by cars, wrong side of the road. You see him there, wrong side of the road, in the center lane there. Now let's see, he's going to pass all these vehicles here. Now I imagine there's going to be a stoplight here momentarily that he's going to have to make a decision here. But he's just straddling that center line. Come here, he goes northbound now. Northbound, I'll try to get that street for you. It looks like it might be Avalon that he may have turned on there. But again, you know, the speeds have slowed down now to about 50, 60 miles an hour. Red light right through, almost hit that car there. Left turn now, westbound surface street. We'll try to get that for you. But you see the LA County Sheriff's helicopter there assisting with the ground units. And it looks like there aren't any ground units behind this vehicle at this point, just that airship that's tracking. We'll try to get the LAPD involved in this, possibly since it's in their area. But again, here he goes northbound, weaving his way in and out these surface streets. Very dangerous. People on the streets, pedestrians walking through those intersections, and it's just a very dangerous situation at these high speeds. We'll try to get to the street he's on right now in just a second.
Boy, it seems as fast as you get the name of the street, he's onto another street, and it looks like he's in a neighborhood now.
Oh.
Did he hit something?
He just missed a kid on a skateboard there. I can't believe I thought he was going to hit that kid on a skateboard. The kid was skating right there on the street, and it just missed him. Here he goes. Northbound now. It looks like this might be Avalon. Now he's, again, weaving here westbound on a surface street. This might be 54th Street possibly. But continuing here, high speeds through these neighborhoods. I mean, you're looking at a 25-mile-an-hour zone there, and he's blowing through it at 50, 60 miles an hour. Here he comes to a stop sign. Major street here. He's going to make a decision right through, weaving right through the traffic there, and then continuing westbound.
It's unbelievable that he has not had an accident yet. Still the Florence area, Gil?
No,
another
he's
pedestrian.
trying to get Yeah, another pedestrian there, trying to get the location. He's real close to the 55th Street and the 110. Now here he goes, jumping back on the freeway here, northbound 110 freeway from about 54th Street.
Oftentimes we'll
Correction, that. Yeah, go ahead.
on the shoulder of the road again. Oftentimes we'll see the CHP or the LAPD pull back when they think the pursuit is too dangerous. Is that what happened here? You said no vehicles in pursuit right now?
Well, I think he's going so fast and taking so many different streets, it's hard to get some coordination there with the ground officers to try to figure out where exactly he is. He's moving so fast. And, I can hear the LAPD discussing how to handle this guy. Here he is, a red light, pedestrians, a trash truck. I mean, he's just going to blow right through there, just delaying. He almost hit that car.
Boy, he almost clipped the
And
back
now
end of
he's
the car.
southbound. Yeah, southbound. This might be Vermont or Hoover here that he's on. But again, I mean, he is reckless in his driving here. Again, wanted for a burglary suspect here, wanted out of the, I believe they said San Bernardino area. But just not concerned about the general public out here, the way he's driving.
We've seen several close calls
that guy
with
just missed.
pedestrians. Unbelievable.
Yeah, a guy with a grocery cart there just almost got clipped. I mean, we saw a skateboarder, we saw people crossing the road. That guy with the cart there, and just, no respect for anybody here. This guy just blowing through. Now he's got some speed bumps on this street. That's slowing him down a little bit. That's good, but here he goes northbound again. This might be Vernon. I believe this is Vernon.
And Gil, do we know anything else about the female passenger in the car, whether she is there willingly or if she was taken against her will?
We haven't heard anything like that, Sandra. We just know that there is confirmed 2 people in that car. There he goes, wrong side of the road. Pedestrians again, a lady with a baby. It's unbelievable. This is so close, coming so close to these people on the streets. But yeah, that's the latest we've heard, that it's a male and a female, male driver, female passenger.
All right, South Los Angeles right now, if you're just joining us.
Just missed those kids. That woman just pulled that little child onto the sidewalk, just barely missing that little child. He said the mother had to pull that little child onto the sidewalk just to save her.
This is simply unbelievable. Very high-speed pursuit now through the streets of South Los Angeles, and we have seen several pedestrians, that lady with a baby, a man pushing a shopping cart, and another child, a young person on his skateboard. We see people standing there at the bus stops in just a very dangerous situation.
There he is, muscling his way through that traffic right there. No regards for the general public here. Again, the drivers out here, they have no idea what's coming. Definitely the pedestrians don't know what's coming. Just erratic in his driving. He's just taking streets at random here, just interweaving here. We're not sure if he maybe knows someone in this area or might maybe possibly even live in this area. It's hard to say, but it just seems like he's just taking random streets here, left and right, continuing on.
It's a nice, warm, sunny day, and certainly a lot of people are out on the streets right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of foot traffic out here, and again, here's a person just diving out of the way. It's like a bull. The people are just diving out of the way of this guy as he blows through these streets. And here he is coming to a stop. Let's see what happens here. Exiting the vehicle. He's on his cell phone, and he's running. The female closes the door, takes off, and she's going to continue on. At this point, he's under the tree. There's no PD. Okay, we have him running here. The only police overhead is the sheriff's helicopter. The suspect, the driver here, is getting out running here on his cell phone. The female passenger taking over the vehicle and driving off with it, but here he's looking for somewhere to dive into.
Obviously,
and behind these trees here, let's see if we...
You can hear the helicopters overhead, but we saw the suspect there in what looked like a white T-shirt and dark denim jeans, and holding his cell phone.
Yeah, he ducked under these trees here. We haven't seen him pop out.
All right, sorry about that, but as you can see, he's going as fast as he possibly can there in the carpool lane. Again, eastbound 91 freeway from the 5 freeway, and he slammed on the brakes there just for a moment, trying to perhaps get those police cars to smash into him. That almost happened, and then really poured on the coals here, and now is taking it up perhaps about 80 to 90 miles an hour as he continues on eastbound, again, 91 freeway. Now, we're looking up ahead. It looks like the eastbound traffic for the next 3 or 4 miles is moving pretty well, so he'll be able to maneuver just as he is right now. As he gets up towards the 57 freeway, things are going to start to jam up for him, and he's going to have to either get trapped in traffic or try and get off onto the surface streets. Now, we have heard him on surface streets in the Buena Park area. That's where we're hearing it first start. Again, we don't know why the person is being pursued. However, as you can see, he's doing whatever he's able to do to get away from the police officers. Most notably, right now, weave through traffic and go as quickly as he possibly can. We're going to try and get some of these off-ramps here as we go by them. But again, it appears to be he's going about 90 miles an hour, and perhaps in just a moment we'll get a speed from the officers on the ground and a cross street.
Derek,
again,
is that Derek Paul Majors in the studio? Is that the only black and white behind him? Do they have more black and whites involved in this as he comes up on that motorcycle, which is very dangerous?
As we pull out just a little bit, we've got about 3 or 4, and there's more in the area. As often as is the case, what they do is they bring in as many of those units as they possibly can to basically take over from from the units that are being pursued, kind of keep always a fresh one on it. So again, there's 3 that we can see that are directly behind him, and there's a number of others that are in the area kind of shadowing it.
Okay.
Again, back into the number 1 lane.
Derek, hi, it's Pat. We're trying to figure out exactly where you are again. I think you said eastbound 91 from the 5 freeway coming up to the 57. Is that the location? He is really driving recklessly right now. If that is the he, Derek, can we confirm that as well?
That's right. Looks like he's getting off the freeway here. He's got cross traffic and traffic on the off-ramp. Gil, if you hear it, go ahead and let me know what street this is. He's going to be turning southbound from the 91. He's well before, perhaps a mile and a half before the 57. Turning back southbound. He's going to be generally going in the direction of the Anaheim Stadium. Look at this. He's going into this gas station around the corner and then continuing on. He's got a fair amount of traffic in this residential street as he peels out there. Look at this. He's taken up to highway speeds. The motorists in the area have really no idea this is going on. As this person arrives, of course, those lights and sirens of the police car behind him are well behind him. And we're coming up to a cross street here. It looks like he's got cross traffic and traffic in the intersection. Let's see what they do. Slams on the brake, goes right into the intersection, right turn, and now southbound.
Cops in Orange County. Now he's jumping into what appears to be some kind of a strip mall. We'll go to the south side there and see exactly where he goes, and there might not be an exit. See if he kind of trapped himself in here in that pickup truck. Nope, found himself an exit. So right back on surface streets, and as you can imagine with these speeds, this time of the afternoon, a very crowded day in Orange County, this is anybody's guess just exactly how this thing is all going to pan out. Looks like, just hit another police car.
Officer.
That's the 3rd accident, and there's the pit maneuver. Looks like it worked out real well, and they're going to come around, hit the front end. They're going to try to stop him. We're going to stay wide now as the suspect tries to get out of his car, perhaps backing up, trying to get away, hit a tree, turned around, might hit that car. Now he's surrounded by cops. They hit him again. They're trying to stop this guy. They're being extremely aggressive. Yeah, they're out of the car. They've got their guns drawn. Hold your spot here. Guns are drawn. They're aimed right at that driver in that truck. They're going to do all they can to get him out peacefully. Go to your right just a bit, get those wires out of the way. That vehicle is surrounded on surface streets here in Orange County, just below the 91 freeway, not far from East Street. Now, police officers are giving him very specific commands, if necessary, in more than one language. They'll try English. If necessary, they'll try Spanish, and they're also well-versed in a variety of other languages because this is a multicultural area here in Orange County. Now, it looks like the window is rolled down. We're going to stay wide because cops are right on this guy. We can't tell exactly if he's complying with police officers or not. Additionally, we can't tell if there are other people inside that vehicle or perhaps just that one driver. Other people, other suspects, perhaps other passengers, even a hostage. It's unclear. Looks like the windows are kind of tinted right now, and it's a 4-door pickup truck, so there may be people in back. Now, once again, we're keeping the shot a little wide because, as you can see, Anaheim police officers, they have their guns trained on this guy.
And they're trying to avoid a crossfire situation, too. You're watching as officers they're gesturing to the other officers to move out of the way in case they have to fire their weapons. They don't want somebody in the line of fire here. You see they're bringing up a K-9 unit up around the back. They're going to have to try to get this guy out. He is hemmed in, although it looks as though he could escape from the front if he wanted to, but apparently he's not going to try that. You've got officers now, several of them, with their guns trained on this suspect. He's not getting out. Maybe he can't because you've got the one police car up against the door on the left, and it appears he's jammed in on the right. He may not be able to actually physically open the door and get out. Maybe that's what he's telling them right now. Question is whether if they back up and make it so the door will open, will he just try to take off? Because he certainly, this is the only way they've been able to stop him thus far. Now he's climbing out.
Yeah, now he appears to be complying with police officers. He may be trapped in there, Mark, with those cops pressed right up against his pickup truck. But the windows are down. He can get out that way. We're still keeping the shot wide because we don't know if he's going to comply entirely with cops. They're going to get him both hands, bring him down to the ground, take him into hand.
All right, we do have breaking news coming to you from Macomb County. A police chase underway now. Detroit's Smart 4 app is making a difference in some neighborhoods. Excuse me. This is a breaking news story we're bringing to you right now. You'll have to apologize, we're having technical issues. But this is a police chase that's going on right now in Macomb County. What we know right now, obviously, police are looking for this person in this vehicle, in this, looks like a van or an SUV of sorts. Now had just hooked a left over the overpass, continuing on, trying to get a location of the exact road right now. Skyfox bringing you pictures. Now going through a residential area, which obviously makes this all the more compelling and obviously very important. This is back in Detroit, although this started in Macomb County. Went to Macomb County, and now they're back in Detroit. So going through some of the neighborhoods right now. Clearly anybody, it's scary when you see these situations, Marielle and Jessica, because now you're going through a residential area where not everybody knows this is going on right now.
Absolutely. And then you see a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed. It's one thing for us to watch this live, but police in heavy pursuit of the person in this car. We don't know this person's mentality or exactly what they are capable of. And that's why it's such a dangerous situation, because eventually this person will be caught by police.
And they are kind of going in circles right now. He's trying to figure out exactly, or he or she, whoever this driver is, trying to figure out exactly how to get out of this situation while police, of course, continue to track them. Oftentimes, you'll know that Sky Fox, as we continue to patrol the area, oftentimes when the police are not right behind them, we're able to help sometimes and assist. Right now, you're looking at it appears to be the police that are behind them, although it's not necessarily a high-speed chase because you don't necessarily see them going at a high rate of speed. Or again, through the neighborhoods, you have to exercise a bit more caution, especially as law enforcement have in the past. You cannot just go speeding through 60, 70, 80 miles an hour through a neighborhood, no matter how fast, how daunting the task is. So now in Macomb County, if you're just joining us, this police chase does continue. You see this person being pursued right now in the blue van. This is in Detroit, started in Macomb County. Wow.
Here we go.
Stop
the
it.
car
Now-
pulling over,
Now going into...
driving onto the grass here. This is, again, perhaps getting ready to be a very serious situation. Looks like they made a U-turn here around the apartment complex. Police seem to have them cornered, though, as he tries to make his way back into the parking lot. And it does look as though that was a successful maneuver there. Police still very close behind him, though. And of course, we know in this situation, officers do act very carefully because they don't want to endanger the other innocent people who are living in that area, looking out the window, being told likely to stay inside of their homes, not knowing what's happening.
Now going through a side street, as you see, being pursued by an officer. There are two different colored cars here. We're presuming that there are many agencies involved. This car now stopping, turning again into the sidewalk, being cornered by one of the cars, the police squad cars, and now again was able to escape the ring. As you could see that they try to form. They were very strategic in the way they try to obviously form a ring around them. Now going back into the main road here, again, this happening in Detroit. We're waiting on word from Sky Fox, our pilot, obviously busy right now piloting the helicopter to figure out exactly which part of town he's in. As this looks like a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy, I think that's what that looks like to me. Continues this pursuit of this blue van that is now on a main thoroughfare, heading at a high rate of speed and now merging onto traffic, as you can see.
There do seem to be some issues there with the steering, and now we see the car pulling off to the side. Again, an officer there still behind the car, two other cop cars there. They tried to cut him off, but he did go through. Yeah. It looks like, okay.
And there's your
and
collision.
The driver gets out and begins to run.
This driver is now hopping a fence, trying to get away. The officers have now apprehended the suspect. It appears to be a young man who was running away from the car, now being tackled by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 officers. This could have been a possibility, a kidnapping situation. According to some sources, a kidnapping situation in which there could have been a child involved. That is not confirmed at this time. Right now, as you can imagine, Detroit police, Wayne County Sheriff's deputies, Macomb County Sheriff's deputies are very busy trying to control the situation, as they have just now been able to take down this suspect, who for now, at least on television the last 5 minutes, has been weaving in and out of a neighborhood, onto a sidewalk, onto the grass, back onto a road, back onto a main road. Thought he got away, and that's when officers were able to essentially T-bone him. And this guy knew at that point it was over for him. He was able to get out.
Still resisting, it seems. Several police officers now carrying this person away.
It's not clear if they were able to take away a weapon from this person, whether or not the person had a weapon. That's unclear right now. The biggest weapon he had was the car that he was driving. A dangerous situation when you have a 4,000-pound vehicle that you're lugging around like that.
Absolutely.
He is now being put in the back of that cruiser right now. Again, this all started, by the way, in Macomb County, ending in Detroit, Michigan State Police, and various other police agencies involved. This is in the Kniff area, we know, in Detroit. And Dequindre. Started in Detroit, went to Macomb County, back at Dequindre and Kniff. That is the end location of where we're looking at this police chase that has ended again with one person in custody right now.
Yeah, you know what? We've been kind of monitoring this, Frank, for over the last 10 to 15 minutes here, and we were unable to get to it earlier because of the low clouds and the fog. And so he just popped out of the fog here at Newberry Park, and so we're having a look at some of the traffic conditions here. He has been able to make it down through the Ventura area, through Oxnard, through Camarillo, up the grade and towards the Thousand Oaks area, and traveling at a very high rate of speed, so 70 to 100 miles an hour occasionally here, and he's weaving in and out of traffic. The driver, from what we understand over the radio reports, is very animated, appears agitated, is waving his hands out the window occasionally here, and as you can see, he's kind of moving in and out of lanes of traffic here, so not too much in terms of volume on the south-south southbound side of the 101 at this point. That could change as we approach the West Valley area here, but he's just past Hampshire. So just to give you folks an idea where he is on the southbound side of the 101, he's past the 23, he's just past Hampshire. He's now picking up speed again, southbound side of the 101. And again, we just heard that this guy is agitated. He's very animated and waving his arms out the window and, driving at a very high rate of speed.
Well, and this is the challenge. When he's agitated and animated and going this fast, when we talk about the fact that there very well likely could be traffic up ahead, that then puts those drivers at risk. And that's when the danger gets that much more increased. We know the police are aware of that, and they're trying to do what they can to mitigate that. But this guy going so fast, it looks like he's probably generally, if you think of traffic going, between 60 and 80 on any given freeway at any given time, that guy's probably going at least 100 right now.
Yeah, you know what? This is one of the higher speeds that we've seen this person at. Again, the CHP is calling this at about 90 to 100 miles an hour at times. And, traffic is for the most part pretty light considering we're talking about Friday morning commuter traffic here. He's just past Westlake at this point. And, again, traveling very, very fast. He's weaving in and out of traffic lanes to avoid some cars. But, traffic being light this time of the morning, it's not like he's having to make some very aggressive moves. He's just kind of weaving in and out of traffic, avoiding some of the cars that are coming up on him. And now, at this point, I see 1, 2, 3, at least 3, 4, 5 units of the CHP all in pursuit of this guy. And here he is just coming up on slower traffic up ahead. It looks like he's going to make a right turn into the number 2 lane and back, and there he goes, just kind of weaving in. Okay, so here we are, southbound side of the 101. We're just coming up on Reyes Adobe here. We're going to be coming up on Canaan, and then Los Virgenes here. Southbound side of the 101 traffic, as you see it right now, is what it looks like, at least for the next foreseeable 3 to 4 miles from what I can tell here now. I should mention that we are the only helicopter up over this pursuit right now. This pursuit initiated out of Ventura County, where air support was grounded because of low clouds and fog, and we were just able to pick this up coming out of the Newberry Park area here, right at the 23 freeway, as this car basically exited the fog. And so Sky 5 HD is the only helicopter covering this pursuit at the moment here, and that being the case, we do have several units of the CHP on the ground as well, and they are not going to let this one go from what we can tell, at least not yet. Again, a driver who appears animated, who appears very agitated, and is driving very aggressively at this point here, is weaving in and out of traffic, coming up on Canaan, I believe, here, and looking up ahead another couple of miles here. It looks like traffic conditions, for the most part, remain the same in that they are fairly light at this point.
And, Mark, we can sort of see that driver that you've talked about being animated. You're pretty tight on that window there, and there is a passenger in the other side, correct?
Yeah, I have not got kind of small monitors up in here, so I can't tell if there's a passenger, but from the radio chatter that we were overhearing, yes, there is a passenger, and now with the close-up view that Tim Decken has given us, it does appear that there is a passenger in that car as well. So we don't know what the situation is in particular here, but we are certainly going to keep following this. At this point, he's just past Los Virgenes, and he's coming up on that slight grade leading up to Parkway Calabasas. For those of us familiar with the area here, southbound side of the 101, we actually kind of paused a little bit to see him come around the bend there, and so we are actually going to make our way up towards him a little bit. But yes, Frank, he is traveling occasionally at very high rates of speed, approaching 100 miles an hour at points. I'd say this coming off the top of the grade, approaching Parkway Calabasas and in towards Mulholland is another opportunity, I would suppose, for him to gain even more speed here. Looking at traffic conditions up ahead over towards Parkway Calabasas at Mulholland, traffic conditions still remain light as we make our way into the West Valley.
On the CHP on the phone with us, Charmaine Fajardo. Tell us what you can about how this started and what the state of this suspect is.
Yes, approximately 8:07 a.m. this morning in the Ventura area, our officers noticed a vehicle at a high rate of speed, weaving in and out of lane changing on other vehicles. They attempted to initiate a stop. At that time, the vehicle failed to yield, and it had started this pursuit that you're watching now.
Do we know anything about who is in the vehicle, if there's other passengers? It seems from our monitors, we can tell from Sky 5 that there seems to be another passenger in the vehicle. Do we know anything about the occupants?
We don't know anything about the occupants. The only thing we're observing also is that there are two occupants in the vehicle, but we don't have any further information or identification on those people yet.
I mean, it complicates things, obviously, when you have a second potential suspect or a victim. We don't know if the passenger is a suspect or a victim in a case like this. How does that change your tactics or strategy? Or perhaps you don't want to say, and that's fine, but it's something that pops into my mind.
Yeah, that's definitely safety is on the mind of all officers. As you said, we don't know any information on the vehicle or the parties in the vehicle, so we're not sure the situation, whether they know each other or not. Again, our officers are always going to have safety at hand, first for the driver, for our officers, and for other motorists on the freeway.
We know that the CHP and other law enforcement are always sort of finally tweaking their pursuit policies. Talk to us about your plan of attack here. What is the goal? Obviously, the end game is to get this person to give themselves up safely and peacefully without injury to your officers or innocent victims on the road.
Again, like you said, it just depends on the situation. Obviously, our goal is to get that party to pull over in a safe manner and conclude this pursuit. However, we kind of are going to base our actions based on what the driver does, based on what traffic is. Again, it's going to be safety for the other motorists. We obviously are at a busy time right now. It's going to be commute time for a lot of people, so there are people on the road. Luckily, he hasn't been affected too much by traffic. It's been light, and he hasn't done any crazy maneuvers, but you never know, so our officers are always going to proceed with caution.
And Ms. Fajardo, as you were saying that, it appears as if we've started to approach that 405, 101 junction there where we knew that traffic would bottle up. I don't know if we're exactly there yet, but we're getting close. And does that help in the sense that it sort of forces the suspect to slow down?
Well, it really depends on the state of the mind of the suspect. You know, sometimes it will help, yes, and tend to box them in, you know, so that they do have to come to a stop. Unfortunately, it can cause them to do things that they're unexpected, and it can cause danger to other parties. So it really just depends on the suspect's state of mind.
And this is where they're really, imagine your officers are really hoping that their lights and sirens will alert the people to let them through so they can keep following this vehicle. Let me ask you, do you know if your officers were able to run the plates on this vehicle? Is this a stolen vehicle we're talking about?
You know, I'm not sure. We don't have any information as to whether it is a stolen vehicle or not. As of right now, I don't believe it has come back stolen.
And if we can have a teachable moment, if you will, in a situation like this, we have all of these cars sort of stuck here. And I just saw the CHP officer, we're just passing Balboa, by the way, and approaching the 405. I saw that the CHP officer kind of gets stuck behind another vehicle. If you find yourself in this situation, pursuit coming up behind you, red lights and siren in your rear view mirror, is it better to pull over if you're driving at freeway speeds or to just stay in the lane that you're in?
It's better to obviously pull over to the right. Anytime an officer is behind you, whether or not they have lights and sirens on, it's better for you to move to the right and out of the way because you never know what they're responding to anyway. But obviously when we are going with lights and sirens, it is best for the vehicles to pull over to the right so we can continue safely.
It looks like he's boxed in momentarily, but then... and he's stuck in this huge bottleneck that happens every day at the 405 and the 101. And he was forced to stop for a moment, but then he was able to get going again. Your officers on the ground in a situation like this, are they empowered at any moment to take a pit maneuver, or is that a carefully considered decision that goes up the chain a bit?
That's definitely going to be carefully considered, especially given the circumstances of the amount of traffic on the road. We don't want anybody else to be affected in anything that we do.
Again, you know, we have the benefit of seeing a picture from Sky 5, and maybe, again, you don't want to give away this information. Air support is a tool you have. Do you think it will likely be pulled into play here?
You know, air support is definitely something that we like to take advantage of. A lot of times that will give us the opportunity to continue to follow the vehicle from the air and not put so much pressure from the actual freeway.
We just saw, actually, as we were talking about that, another helicopter fly through our shot, so it sounds as though there is law enforcement on scene now at this point, so you'll have the benefits of some other eyes in the sky. And
just to give you a sense of where we are right now, this is the 101, and it appears as if the suspect vehicle chose not to jump onto the 405 north or south, stayed on the 101. We're in Sherman Oaks now, and that will take this person, once you cross that 405, the next off-ramp would be Van Nuys Boulevard, followed by Woodman, Coldwater, Laurel Canyon, Vineland. So just in terms of your planning, if you're at home and trying to figure out, is this a good time to leave the house and to pull onto the freeway, obviously this is the activity that's happening right now in the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, we've got Ginger Chan as well as Charmaine Fajardo from the CHP Southern Division on the line. Ginger Chan, Charmaine, if we could ask you to hold tight here for a second. Ginger Chan, the congestion here is going to last a fair ways, is it not?
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about last time around, that as soon as he crosses that 405 and he doesn't choose to make that transition to the 405 north or south, this is where those delays are. And yes, it's already as he crossed over that 405 or just before it at Haskell, we saw him start to slow down. So he's really trying to find a way out of this now. And let me just tell you, as he continues through Studio City all the way in towards Toluca Lake and Burbank, he will continue to be on those brakes because the yellow lights actually are starting to turn yellow from red. And then once he crosses over and then continues a little farther east in towards, say, Eagle Rock and Glendale, well, that's when those lights will start to turn green. But in terms of crashes or stalls, there's nothing of that to speak of, just a lot of congestion in the area that he is directly headed towards.
I want to bring Mark Kono back in. Mark, you guys were pushed in pretty tight for a moment there on, it appeared to be the passenger, but I couldn't tell. It seemed as if the passenger's body language was very casual, just sitting there as if out for a Sunday drive. But could you tell, is it a man, is it a woman, is it a child?
You know what, Frank, hard to tell. I kind of missed that push-in shot there, but I was not able to tell. I'm going to maneuver a little bit forward here and see if Tim can get into the sunroof and see what that passenger is doing. I have not detected much motion from that passenger at all during the whole time of this pursuit here. In fact, for the most part, it looks like that passenger was leaning back. Most of the motion, most of the animation was, of course, coming from the driver at this point. We are basically stuck in traffic as we approach Van Nuys Boulevard here. Now, Ginger made a note of the slowdown here just before Haskell. It was right at about Balboa, coming up on Haskell in the 405, that we encountered all this heavy traffic. Now, again, eastbound on the 101 now from the 405, coming up on Van Nuys Boulevard, looking ahead through the Valley Floor. It looks like we have this sort of stop-and-go heavy traffic all the way up to the Hollywood Split. Yeah, that's right, Frank. Just passing Barnes South outside of the 101. Traffic conditions are starting to ease a little bit through this particular portion as you come up towards the Hollywood Bowl. But I will say, once you get down to Hollywood Boulevard looking ahead, it is heavy once again. But just this one little patch of easing sort of traffic here, he is able to sort of speed up as he wishes. But once again, about a mile and a half forward here, looking over towards Hollywood Boulevard, that 101 is down to a crawl once again.
Again, time is of the essence in terms of making sure that they are all over this, and CHP CHP is, Charmaine, we've been talking about this importance of being patient, and we have to say your officers have done a great job of just sort of remaining steadily behind them. It doesn't seem as though they've added any panic to this driver. I mean, obviously being pursued by police is obviously not the best situation for somebody who's trying to flee from them, but they're being very cautious in trying to just keep an eye on this guy.
Definitely. We don't want to do anything that's going to cause him to make any more affirmative actions. Obviously we are concerned for, again, everyone's safety that's on the road, and for the driver's safety and state of mind. We have to take that into consideration. He's been moving around quite a bit in the vehicle, so that's something to be concerned with. That's something that the officers obviously have on their mind when he finally does come to a stop. Those are all kind of things that they have to take into consideration.
Well, he's coming right here into the 101, the portion of the freeway that comes right by our station here, very close to the heart of Hollywood, and it seems as though right now he's going to stay on the freeway.
It looks like they just passed the Highland Avenue exit. That's the one that takes you to the Hollywood Bowl, and soon we'll be at Cahuenga and Vine, and we'll see the Capitol Records building momentarily in the background as we see this car going right through, as you said, Michaela, the heart of Hollywood. The good news, if there is any, is that he has at times been traveling 100 miles an hour. He doesn't seem to be trying to speed up in an excessive way right now. You hope, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Fajardo, but you hope that during the course of time that the driver sort of calms himself down and then eventually comes to his senses and does the right thing.
That's true. We definitely hope he calms down and that he decides to come to a stop once he realizes there's really nowhere to go.
And I think this is Vine, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening. He's pulling over, and this is the most dangerous portion, really, of this because you have civilians in the area, CHP officers. We don't know what's going to happen with this suspect. They are in an overpass here, and it appears as if the passenger has alighted from the vehicle, and the driver is still in the vehicle. Ms. Fajardo, walk us through this felony stop. What happens next?
Definitely, they're just going to be giving commands to the parties in the vehicle, hopefully trying to get them to obey those commands to get on the road so that the officers can make a safe approach and take them into custody.
We saw one of your officers running with some sort of case. Do you have non-lethal weapons at the ready as well for this kind of situation?
Yes, generally we do.
Okay, so obviously now that it looks as though the driver is getting out of the vehicle, arms are in the air. I think the passenger is on the ground. They're having the driver back away from the vehicle to step aside from it, and they're giving him commands, which he seems to be following, not putting up any sort of resistance at this point. Now getting down onto his knees, and police will cautiously approach him and put handcuffs on him.
Was part that the suspect has given up peacefully here. He is being taken into custody, and that is some good news here. I will note that the southbound side of the 101 is entirely blocked off by CHP at this point. Traffic is starting to build coming out of the Cahuenga Pass, but again, this should be something that they can take care of and clean off the freeway hopefully in the next several minutes here. The passenger, I'm not able to see where that the passenger is now, just getting up and coming towards officers or obeying the commands of the officers here, and so that's is something that should hopefully come to an end shortly. The code 4, Frank.
And Ms. Fajardo, if I could just ask you, in a situation like this for the passenger, the passenger was pulled over with handcuffs on. If that passenger is a victim, it must be disconcerting for her. We don't know yet, but tell us why the officers took the actions they did with this passenger.
They did because we don't know the situation. We still need to learn that situation. So basically, for their safety, it's important for them to keep that party cuffed until they determine all the circumstances.
Charmaine Fajardo is the PIO from the Southern Division of CHP. We want to thank you so much for sticking with us this hour, and we are very pleased to report that this has come to a peaceful and safe end.
Again, this pursuit has been going on for the better part of about 20 minutes or so. We initially caught this about 20 minutes ago when we were at our base, and we actually heard that this guy was coming northbound on the 405 from the South Bay, and he actually made his way over to the 90 freeway. That's the Marina Freeway, where the officer just described him getting off in Sentinella, then getting back onto the 90, and then back onto the 405 South. And so now he has made his way down the South Bay curve, and he is now on the 110 freeway southbound, and again heading in towards the Torrance area. Guys, I'm going to hand it off to you for about 30 seconds while I talk to Torrance Tower.
Okay, thank you, Mark. What's interesting about this is the 110 freeway south is going to end. It's going to end in San Pedro, so eventually at some point, if he goes all the way to the end of this, he's going to have to get off on a surface street in San Pedro if he doesn't get off an exit before that. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this one ends up. I mean, there's no telling. He could end up on the Thomas Vincent Bridge and start heading to Long Beach at this point.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll continue to follow this, and we'll see you back here right after a quick commercial break.
Welcome back to the KTLA 5 News at 1. The time now is 1:22. We've been following this pursuit of a black F-Ford 150 pickup truck. Apparently, the driver of this car committed a lewd act on a child in the city of Bell. And this pursuit has been going on probably for more than a half hour now.
Yeah, we've been watching him pick up speed and then slow back down. KTLA's Mark Kono is live over the chase right now in Sky 5. Mark, what can you tell us? What's going on?
You know what? He just exited the freeway here just about a minute ago, southbound on the 110 coming through the Torrance area here. He just exited the freeway at PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway. He's made a westbound turn and is heading in towards Torrance proper now. He is on surface streets here, the California Highway Patrol. There they are. They are making an approach to him. We will see what their intentions are as far as the possibility of pitting this guy. But again, he is in a little bit of traffic here, making his way westbound along PCH. He is being pursued by several officers from the California Highway Patrol. I can see several cars behind him as he makes his way through that intersection there. But again, moving westbound again on PCH.
Talk a little bit about the strategy the CHP officers are going to be using here. You know, they're following him. They're not doing anything aggressive. What's the strategy in getting him to stop?
TV5 copies. Thank you. You know, in terms of strategy here, you know, we'll see what happens here. It looks like, in fact, that he's slowing down, possibly stopping, and we'll see what his intention is here. Is he looking ahead at the red light because traffic in front of him there is at a red light, and it looks like he may be just waiting for the green light so then he can dart forward. In terms of what the CHP strategy is, we don't know. We understood that he was on the telephone with someone just a short while ago while he was on the freeway, and so we don't know if he is in negotiations to give up or something like that, or if he's talking to someone who is trying to help him out. But again, he is slowing down, but now that they have a green light on westbound PCH, it looks like he's accelerating again, and he's going to be going through that intersection again, westbound on PCH going in towards Torrance.
Okay, Mark, keep on this. We're just getting some information that apparently police in Bell have been watching his house, and he is facing a charge of a lewd act with a child. And they apparently tried to pull him over in Lakewood, and he basically let them know he knew exactly why they were pulling him over, but he failed to yield.
Yeah, and those lewd acts that he's accused of did not happen today. They apparently have happened in the past, and police were watching this man, conducting surveillance on him, watching him at his house. They decided to follow him today, try and make a stop, and he bolted.
Okay, and again, right now he is on Pacific Coast Highway in Torrance, heading back up toward the South Bay in a northerly direction. And, you know, he's hit a few traffic, some heavy traffic in a few spots. He continues, when he approaches the intersection, to kind of slow down, kind of waiting to time the light so the light will change. And we've seen this before. The CHP will get right up behind him, but they have yet to try a pit maneuver or anything like that. And I think probably has to do with the weight of the pickup truck compared to the black and white unit.
Right, yeah. You know, at times it looks like he's slowing down, he's getting ready to stop, but he's really just slowing up to, as you said, Glenn, to keep moving somewhat as he's approaching red lights. But it doesn't look like he's ready to stop anytime soon, and he's probably not going to do it until he is forced to.
And by the way, that intersection you just went through was PCH and Western Avenue in Torrance as he continues to head sort of in a northwesterly direction. Okay, well, maybe he's going to try a pit maneuver. Yep, they just tried it, but...
Yeah, they're trying to pit him. They're trying to pit him. He's making his way through the intersection. They're staying on him. They're staying on him. They're going to try and pit him. They're going to try and pit him. There they go. They pitted him. Just past Western. There they go. He's... Okay, we're going... Five's going to the...
Okay, again, we lose our picture there for a minute. Hopefully we can get it back. But as you saw, they pulled the pit maneuver there and spun the pickup truck around, and he slammed into the semi-truck trailer right there. Officers are now outside the vehicle, and Mark, at this point, I guess it's just going to be a standoff.
You know what, I just missed your comment there, Glenn, but yeah, they did just pit him as you saw here. They just pitted him past Western here, westbound on PCH. They spun him, and they spun him basically into a tractor trailer here. He is basically swamped ends. He's facing the wrong way, and they are guns drawn. It appears that they're going to be asking this guy to get out of his vehicle here peacefully, so we will see what the reaction here is from this suspect here, so we will, you know, stay on top of this, but hang on, let me give it right back to you guys.
Okay, again, they just,
I got you there.
Just pulled the pit maneuver on this pickup truck, and as we've said earlier, there have been reports that the driver of this vehicle is threatening suicide. So I just want our, you know, just everybody have a heads up, especially our viewers. This could be one of those situations of suicide by cop, which we have seen before. So we're going to be very careful here on what we show you as this thing unfolds, hopefully in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and we come to a peaceful resolution.
And we know that he is accused of lewd acts on a child. Those acts not happening today, according to the CHP. They believe he had committed these crimes in the past. They were conducting surveillance on this man, watching him at his house. They followed him today, tried to pull him over in Lakewood. He refused to stop. We did speak with CHP a little bit earlier, asking, you know, is this man alone in the car? And at this point, officers do not know. They don't really know what they're dealing with here.
Mark, could you pull out just a little bit? I mean, we see the black and white units and the motorcycle officers, but do they have him completely surrounded? I mean, is there anybody north of where he, you know, basically in his backside right now that is blocking traffic? And well, it looks like if he could pull out, he could take off.
You know what they do? They do have traffic blocked here. Where they spun them, where they pitted them, basically is between Western and Normandy. As you can see from our wide shot here, they are rerouting traffic. Eastbound and westbound is being diverted, both north and southbound, Western and Normandy here. So they are going to be awaiting the end result of this police pursuit here. So we will certainly see what transpires here. But yeah, they do have traffic blocked here. They are not letting anyone through this particular section of PCH. Now they just pitted him a couple of minutes ago. They are waiting for him to come out of the vehicle here. The CHP, you see there near the center of your screen there with their guns drawn, no doubt directing him to come out of his vehicle here. But so far, it looks like that
That may have been a truck driver.
He may have been a bystander. I don't believe that was a driver. That was likely a bystander there who was kind of running from the scene there. No, he is leaving again, and so he is back in his truck, and he is back westbound on PCH, and so this pursuit, it looks like it's going to continue for a little bit here, guys.
Well, see, that's what I was pointing out. I didn't understand why they didn't block off the other direction, because if he pulled out, he's taking off, and I think that man we saw running was actually the driver of that big rig.
Getting out of the way.
I think he got out of the passenger side and took off over to the parking lot to get a safe distance away from everything. But again, that situation is over, and they're going to clean up that mess, and they're going to continue this pursuit on Pacific Coast Highway.
Well, and we're dealing with a man here who apparently knew why police were there to pull him over. He refused to stop. We're hearing he may have threatened suicide. So probably dealing with a person who isn't going to give up, until the end. So, and that looks exactly like what he was doing. It is interesting, though, that, the CHP officers didn't block him from basically just driving away.
I think they assumed at that point that his vehicle was disabled, but that's certainly not the case. And now we've seen where he's driving on the other side of the road in turn lanes. He's in the median, and he's picking up some speed, Mark.
Yeah, pretty high rate of speed here. We're talking about speeds probably in the neighborhood of 50 miles per hour here, westbound on PCH. He just passed Pennsylvania Avenue here, westbound on PCH, and he's going to be coming up on the border of, Torrance Airport. And that's who we've been talking to for the past 5 minutes or so, coordinating air traffic with all the helicopters and the law enforcement helicopters up here. But again, westbound on PCH, and it looks like he's making a move in opposite lanes of traffic here, and he's coming up on an intersection, a red light intersection, and that's Crenshaw. And he's going to be southbound on Crenshaw here, so he's making a left turn, going southbound on Crenshaw, and it looks like he's actually moving in towards, what I believe to be the Rolling Hill. Follow this as he makes his way uphill. We have seen some erratic movements here, so a couple of red lights that he's blown through, but again, southbound on Crenshaw from PCH, he is moving south away from the Torrance Airport here as he moves uphill over towards the Rolling Hills area.
Well, that's going to be very unusual. We've had a lot of pursuits in a lot of different areas of town, but I can't ever remember any type of pursuit that ended up in the Palos Verdes Peninsula. So this will certainly be interesting if he manages to keep eluding officers. He's going to go up at the top of the peninsula at some point, and he's probably going to head up down to the ocean. And Palos Verdes Boulevard goes completely around the peninsula. You've got Palos Verdes Boulevard east, west, north, and south, and there's no telling where he's going to end up. I mean, he could end up driving, end up in Redondo Beach if he goes one direction, he go the other direction, and end up in San Pedro and still make his way to Long Beach if they don't pull another pit maneuver and get this guy pulled over.
If you're just joining us right now, we're following a pursuit. A man who CHP officers tried to pull over in it was Lakewood, and he refused to stop. He was wanted, accused of lewd acts on a child. Police apparently have been watching him for quite some time. He was accused of committing these acts in the past. And when police tried to pull him over, he told them, I know why you're here, and he did not stop. We're also hearing reports that this driver may have threatened to commit suicide. So this is a suspect who is going to ride this out probably until the end.
And, just to think of his, right there, I believe, is Palos Verdes Boulevard south. I think he was passing right there, or east. And anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we are going to stay with this pursuit. We'll have more when we come back. I'm Glenn Walker, along with Carolyn Costello and Mark Cono up in Sky 5. You're watching the KTLA 5 News at 1 o'clock. We'll be right back.
Well, this all started in Bell, California here. The Sheriff's Department attempting to serve a search warrant for a lewd conduct suspect. He took off from police. He told them that he was not going to be taken alive. He was going to commit suicide. This pursuit went all the way up north of LAX, then south back down here to Rancho Palos Verdes. We're on Rancho Palos Verdes Drive east, southbound from the Torrance Airport. This black pickup truck, Sheriff's Department, CHP on top of it. They tried several times to pit the car using that pursuit intervention technique. Didn't work. He actually crashed into a big rig, waited till the cops got out of their cars, and then took off again here. Southbound towards Palos Verdes Estates, Rancho Palos Verdes here, up through the hillside south of Torrance. Again, a suspect wanted for a lewd conduct warrant who said that he was going to commit suicide. We don't know whether he has any arms. He's armed, but obviously he is dangerous. He doesn't want to be caught. Sheriff's Department and the CHP involved in the pursuit. On my case up in Sky 9, KCAL 9 News.
Yeah, just from what little information we have right now, you can imagine that this driver is posing a great risk to the public as he's fleeing from the authorities right now. So he has told police that he will not be taken alive. He may be suicidal. Sheriff's deputies were attempting to do a search warrant for a lewd act on a child, not today, but in the past. So they were watching this person. He would not pull over. He, again, said that he would not be taken alive and has led police on this chase for about half an hour right now. You can look at the truck and you can see that it's damaged in the back. That was the result of a pit maneuver that the CHP did on this car. I believe that was at PCH between Western and Normandy in Torrance. The driver then hit a semi-truck, and that's the damage that you see on the back of his pickup truck. So we thought it might have been over at that point, Susie. We waited for a while. The officers got out of their cars, and of course this guy takes off again.
That's right. We saw them standing around the car, and we definitely thought it was over. But then again, like you said, Lena, he took off once again. Again, if you're just joining us live right now here on KCAL 9, we're following a CHP pursuit that started in the city of Bell this afternoon after officers attempted to serve a search warrant. It looks like he is definitely putting... Wow, we just saw the truck roll down the hill. Mike Case, what can you tell us?
You know, he wasn't going that fast. He was passing other cars, but it looks like he just lost control, possibly even on purpose, the way he was driving, the way he took that swerved off to the right. You can see he crashed into the back of, appears to be some type of a commercial business here. It doesn't look like there's anyone in the parking lot. It could be a closed business. At the top of the hill, Rancho Palos Verdes, they are now descending on the car to try to take him into custody, if that's at all possible. But it looks like he tried to commit suicide by swerving. That's about the only thing we have right now. We have not heard of any weapons. Again, suspect wanted for lewd conduct here. This pursuit going on for about 30 minutes, went all the way up to LAX and back now to Rancho Palos Verdes, where he drove himself right off the road for no reason. There was no other car around, and we'll see exactly what happens here. But right now, this pursuit is over. Rancho Palos Verdes. On my case in Sky 9, KCAL 9 News.
Yeah, so officers are descending on the now crash site. Hopefully, we hope that no one was in that area, but you can look at all the debris from the crash right there. Again, he didn't look like he lost control. The truck looked like he had full control of it, and then all of a sudden you just saw him cross all lanes and go over the edge there into this building.
We continue to follow breaking news. This is taped of a pursuit that came to an abrupt end when the driver of that black Ford pickup slammed to a fence off Crenshaw Boulevard, went airborne, and crashed his pickup truck into a tree. Right next to that office building, you see it now turned on its side. The condition of that driver at this point is unknown. But if we go back live now to our live picture, you can see that fire paramedics, have now arrived on the scene. So at this point, we would have to assume that that driver did survive.
Breaking news, a suspect in that crazy chase in the South Bay has been pulled out alive.
Yeah, you saw here live on KCAL 9. The chase ended when his truck flew off an embankment. Mike Case is above the scene in Sky 9. Mike?
Well, we also understand that this driver has been confirmed as an LAUSD teacher. This pursuit started. In fact, let's go to the tape we just shot seconds ago. LA County Fire and Urban Search and Rescue were able to stabilize the pickup truck that ran off of Crenshaw and stabilize that under a tree, and were able to successfully get him out, put him on a backboard, and take him to an ambulance, awaiting ambulance, and they've gone to a nearby hospital here, probably Harbor General. If we can, let's go to the end of the pursuit where the suspect actually ran off the road. He said he wasn't going to be taken alive, and it looks like he tried that or had a rear tire blowout on him, but it was a lengthy, dangerous, high-speed pursuit up and down the 405 freeway that ended here in Rancho Palos Verdes. Suspect said he wouldn't be taken alive. It was an investigation by the Long Beach Police Department, originated in Bell. He was wanted for lewd conduct and child endangerment. That suspect, the only one injured, in custody now. Rancho Palos Verdes estates, no other injuries, no other accidents. On my case up in Sky 9, KCAL 9 News.
Okay, I've got that helicopter, Raj. Eastbound turn from Florence. Eastbound turn from Florence. He should be turning towards us. Okay. Where is he? We're waiting, guys. We're waiting. There we go. I got it. It's a green car. You got it? Booth, we have it. We have it. News Chopper 4. Yes, ma'am. I have no audio. Yes, Nairi, but I think I think everybody is south of us. Dave, you're the best. We're the only ones getting this. Let's break this.
On Western is going much faster, or the posted speed limit is much faster than the pursuit is going on right now. We're going to get the cross street here in a moment, but it's getting quite a distance away from us. We're taking a really long look, and it looks like he's turning back to the west now towards LAX. This has been a tactic that he's used before. 84th Street, apparently. There we go. That's right. And 7.5 is right behind you here, but we're higher at 800. Going out, money. We heard on the scanner that they said no spike strip. We don't understand if that means there are no spike strips available, or they're unable to get the spike strips out there, or if the supervisor is saying not to use the spike strip. But we're continuing on eastbound on Imperial. That was through Wadsworth. We passed we're coming up onto Central right now, and for those. Give me to a stop. Yeah, he's continuing on here westbound. He just turned southbound on Hooper from 93rd Street. He was at this intersection just a short time ago, and he's backtracked there. As you saw, he came up alongside that vehicle. We don't know why that person opened the driver's side door, but he's planning to do. He's got cross traffic up ahead. And this may be difficult for him to maneuver around. He's in the center divider right there, and we've got some cars that are turning left. They're seeing those seeing those lights and hearing those sirens and trying to get out of the way as best as they are able. There you can see we've got a bit of a jam up right now. Coming to a stop, talking to some of those motorists on the street, and some people do want to talk to them, but others don't.
Okay, here we go. We've got a train now. We've got a train. Whether this individual is going to wait, Dave, we got a train tracks. He's got a southbound train. He's going to time this and probably try to go in front of the train. And so that way officers, oh goodness, I thought he was going to go right through it. He's basically just went through the, Dave, setting off to the left a little. Oh, be careful, Dave, please. So basically now the train stopped. The train stopped, and now he's having to make a U-turn. So now we're going westbound 92nd Street. That's on 92nd Street where he went through the crossing guards there for the train. It almost appeared that he was going to try to go in front of the train at one point. Oh, come on, Dave. Now we're going westbound on 92nd toward Compton, where we had a lot of people in this intersection. People getting involved in the middle of the street right here. Right here, approaching that car. It appears right there, he just threw money out of the car. He just threw money out of the car. That's creating a melee here. He just threw money out of the car out of 92nd and Compton. 92nd and Compton, we just witnessed him throw money out of the car. And
yeah, just keep circling the same area, and again, LAPD
okay, here we go again with people on the street, but look at the crowd this time.
Oh, yeah. And again, LAPD hypersensitive to the crowd that's gathering as a result of this spectacle.
Gives him a high five. That was nothing more than a hand slap.
Right. A couple of times already. Now, the development that we're hearing right now is there's a number of civilians that are getting into this pursuit behind the LAPD, and they're going to run a traffic break, keep those people off of this pursuit. So it's been going on long enough that some people have decided to get in their vehicles and try and see this from their own vantage point on the street. Coming through cross traffic right there, he just blew through there. That's northbound on Hooper. He's coming up on from Newt, but it looks like some of those people stopped right in this area here, and that is them just on the north side. People out on the street as well, talking to the person, handing out money. Of course, that is apparently the tactic that they're using to try and muddle this pursuit and make it more difficult for the LAPD to try and follow him, but of course that's not happening. LAPD has sent over another helicopter as well. They're trying to keep us as wide as possible right now, just in case they need both of those helicopters should this come to a stop. So again, here, Hooper, 92nd, 94th, Belhaven, that area right there, again, turning back southbound on Belhaven from 92nd. LAPD right behind them, as you can see. They're stopping and talking to some of the motorists that are opposite direction here, and we're going to see this intersection again here where he came before and stopped. We've got people out in the street, running out in the street right here. Okay, he's in an alleyway right now. LAPD directly behind area, and we're going to start getting here some cross streets here in just a moment. Some more. Here we've got it's coming into the public housing, which Nickerson Gardens. 112 and some more. This is Nickerson Gardens. Right.
Cars who are trying to be a part of this, trying to get money. This person is throwing money out of the car. Here we go. He has nowhere to go. Traffic is coming up to a stop right now. This car is getting out of his way. Coming up on Imperial Highway. Armored vehicles are coming up. So basically they are going to, and this car right here, that's an LAPD unit. This is Imperial Highway. We're going eastbound Imperial Highway here from Compton Avenue. LAPD is going to bring this pursuit to an end. It's going to be very soon. They have armored vehicles now. This is something we haven't seen where LAPD is having to use an armored vehicle to end the pursuit. Here we go. I'm looking out the window. I'm going to show you where the armored vehicle is in proximity. There's that armored vehicle. These two cars here, I'm not sure if they're LAPD vehicles. I almost believe they might be. I believe these are LAPD vehicles right here. It looks like they may be trying to pit him. And I believe the maneuver, what they were saying is they want to pit this vehicle and then have the armored vehicles basically block him in. So we may be watching this pursuit come to an end here. LAPD setting up for a pit maneuver. Eastbound Imperial Highway, coming up on almost Alameda here. LAPD is going to try to execute. They're going to try to execute a pit maneuver. Suspect knows something's going down right now, so he starts going faster. Eastbound Imperial Highway will be coming up on Alameda here shortly. LAPD desperately trying to bring this to an end. You see that vehicle right there, that SUV, LAPD SUV, is trying to get up close enough. You have to understand this individual is armed, so LAPD right now doing the best they can. Dave, I'm going to need you to get me to the other side. I'm losing this pursuit because of the freeway. Approaching Alameda now. LAPD, here we go. I believe they're going to try to pit this car if they can. Right there is the point to execute if they can, and they were not able to. Northbound Alameda, Dave. Northbound Alameda. News Chopper 4 pilot Dave Childs keeping us on top of this right now. Here we go. LAPD. Look how close he's getting. Look how close he's getting. Now we're starting to see some dangerous speeds here. We're northbound Alameda in South Los Angeles. LAPD attempting to pit this vehicle. Here we go. Look how close he's getting. Here he goes. He's going to try to pit this car. Vehicle traveling on the wrong side of the road. Approaching 108th Street. Northbound Alameda approaching 108th Street. LAPD desperately trying to end this pursuit. Their tactic is to pit this vehicle and have the armored vehicles block him in. Here we go. Through MLK. Heavy traffic, heavy traffic. Got some moderate traffic coming up at the next light according to LAPD. Here we go. There's an attempt right there. An attempt to a pit maneuver. Now we're starting to see high speeds. The suspect knows LAPD is basically trying to stop him. The game is over. Here we go. He's going to try to get into the left of that vehicle. Right there. Pit that vehicle right there. 103rd. 103rd. Here's another vehicle. Pit him right there. They're holding him. Now they're going to get the hands up. Hands up. He's actually ending it right now. There's your armored vehicle. LAPD armored vehicle stopping that. Those are SWAT officers right now bringing this pursuit to an end here. There's that other LAPD vehicle that did the pit. They got this guy. Fortunately, we do see his hands up. We're going to zoom in because we do see his hands up right now. LAPD officers are basically going to bring this to a peaceful ending. We're going to watch him bring this individual out. They're going to have to bring him out through the passenger door unless if he's crawling out himself. But again, LAPD did a tremendous job. This is Alameda at 103rd where they executed a perfect pit maneuver. Got this suspect here to stop. Brought him into a complete stop. You have an armored vehicle, a couple of SUVs. You got the LAPD K9 right down there below. They're summoning this individual to basically come out with your hands up. He appears to be complying. They've got a K9 dog ready to go in and apprehend that suspect if necessary. He's climbing over that SUV right now, slowly making his way towards officers. Appears to be complying, following the commands. David may have to position me a little better so I can see him. He's on the ground. You see the shot there. He's laying down right now. And fortunately, this pursuit has come to an end at 3:29 here. LAPD officers doing a great job. They're very cautious. They're apprehending the suspect. Those are SWAT officers apprehending the suspect. This is Alameda at 103rd, where LAPD did a great job bringing this crazy pursuit to an end. I got you. We're just moving the helicopter. Sorry for the crazy shot. What's up? Five minutes, Raj. All right. Yes, sir. Let me get that suspect. There's the suspect right there. Keep me nice and easy. Oops, what was that? What'd I do? LAPD officers did a great job bringing that to an end.
That's right. Yeah, it does appear that he knows what's up. It's almost as if Yeah, he knows that this is going to be happening, so he's speeding up and trying to maneuver away from the vehicle that may pit him. If we pull out just a little bit, you can see that there's going to be 2 more armored vehicles behind that one. So if one doesn't get it, the other ones will. Maneuvering through, going a little bit more faster than he has before, keeping his speed up, keeping see, right alongside those vehicles so that the pursuing vehicle can't get up on his left quarter panel. Through MLK, that's north, yeah. Okay, very close right there. They're looking. It looks as though this is a little bit more than just your average SUV. There it goes, spun it around there. They hit him there, and they've got him pinned right there between some. We're going to try and maneuver up here. Okay, 5 is going to proceed to the north, and we've got you there, FX. Okay. This is the cross street. It's at 103 now. 103, right. And thanks for your help on this one.
On that northbound 405 traveling through the Long Beach area. South LA CHP now monitoring this, and they are primary. They are handling this as we are repositioning News Chopper 4 here. Let me pull out to show you the picture. We are on the 110 freeway, northbound side of the 110, coming up on some traffic here, but we're coming up into the thick of the afternoon traffic, northbound side of the 110 approaching Manchester. This is an alleged possible DUI suspect. That's what they believe, but so far it's a failure to yield. We're proceeding north on the 110 coming up into South LA where CHP is pursuing this vehicle.
So Megan, you had mentioned this all started in the Orange County area, did you say, or was it Long Beach?
We've heard it out of the Orange County area. Our
Okay.
pilot Derek Bell picked it up off the CHP scanner, and he heard that CHP pursuit along Orange County. So we understand Westminster units were trying to pull this vehicle over. They have since departed this pursuit because they handed it off to South LA CHP. Now we're on the 110 freeway, so we're going to come up into the Central Division, so they may hand it off as well. But again, speeds are not too dramatic right now along the 110 freeway. I'm going to pull out so you can see kind of the distance where the CHP officers are. Really, they only have about 3 units right now. They called up all other units. The vehicle's not driving erratically at all, just continuing on the freeway right now. Speeds averaging about 55 miles per hour. So it's one of those slow speed pursuits. And again, we always say we don't like to see pursuits, but when we do, the safest mode is when they're on the freeway and they're traveling at the flow of traffic. Nothing erratic at this time. North 110 freeway here. I believe we're coming up on the Manchester exit north of Manchester, coming into almost downtown Los Angeles.
And Megan, it looks like he's slowing down, then speeding up, slowing down, speeding up. Is that what you've been seeing through this process here?
Yeah, right now the story changed once this person made that connector to the North 110 freeway because of this afternoon traffic. Anybody who drives it knows about that traffic just north of Florence Avenue, unless if you're in the elevated carpool lanes, which are actually the fast track lanes now, you're going to be stuck in some traffic. So I feel it's okay to kind of pull out a little. You can see traffic is starting to slow here. We see the elevated lanes. They're going to be coming up here shortly. But CHP keeping their safe distance, really not trying to do anything to antagonize this person, the person traveling somewhat at safe speeds. Of course, we're not pulling over, which is not a good idea. You see that CHP right there? That's probably some central units. We're coming up into their jurisdiction right now, so they are going to be taking over this pursuit.
Yeah.
They do that because they are more familiar with this area, so they can handle it in a better manner. So So CHP units here in the Central Division just getting ready to take over this pursuit. Originated, we believe, out of Orange County, Westminster. CHP trying to pull this vehicle over, and so far it is a failure to yield. Now we're traveling on this North 110 coming up into downtown LA here.
Megan, are you able to zoom out for us just a little bit how many CHP officers are following at this point? But like as we can see now, they are keeping their distance, but quite a few.
Well, yeah, you see a little more because they actually have the Central units coming up, and they're going to send the South LA units home back to their jurisdiction. In fact, they actually made one of the motor units back away, basically pull off of the pursuit because they had sufficient units, according to the watch commander. Usually you have about 3 units, sometimes maybe more, depending on the situation. We're going to reposition News Chopper 4 to get a better idea here. But basically, we have the primary unit, the secondary unit, and usually there is a supervisor on scene as well.
All right, Megan, we'll check back with you in just a few moments. Right now on the phone, we have CHP Officer Figueroa. Thanks so much for joining us right now. Can you give us a status update? What do you know about this incident, this pursuit right now?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, this pursuit originated in the Westminster area by our CHP units trying to attempt to stop this vehicle because it was a 911 call from a citizen that was concerned about this. You know, the car was swerving back and forth, and so they decided to call 911, and we tried to stop the vehicle, and at that point it failed to yield.
So certainly that person who called in saw some erratic driving, but so far as we've been tracking this vehicle, not swerving around the lanes, I guess, as far as we're seeing. Is that what you're hearing?
That's true. That's what we're seeing too. The thing is that now that person has failed to yield to our emergency lights, and so that's in itself something that is criminal.
Of course.
You know, we're concerned for their safety. If maybe they're having some sort of medical condition, if they were weaving back and forth, it could be that they're under the influence. We don't know. We'd like to stop them.
Do we know if it's a male or female driver?
We do know that it's a solo occupant female that's in the vehicle right now.
And we've talked a little bit about the speeds. This driver going somewhere between 40 and 60 miles per hour at times, so not excessive speeds, but it looks like the driver really slows down at certain points. Would there ever be a decision made to kind of move in on that driver if they almost come to a complete stop on the freeway? And when is that decision made to kind of move in and become a little bit more aggressive?
Well, these situations are ongoing, and that decision is made by the patrol units down that are in the pursuit, as well as with the sergeant. It depends on the situation. The last thing we want to do is put somebody else's life or their property in danger in order to stop this vehicle. Especially right now, we have time on our side. It's not driving too fast, so we could take our time with most of our resources to get this person to stop.
It gets a little more challenging here as traffic is backing up, but it looks like, he's now, I'm sorry, did you say this was a man or woman? I wasn't able to hear your answer.
A woman.
A woman. It's a female driver who's behind the wheel here. And Megan Reyes, if you're still able to hear us, could you pull out a bit so we can see the proximity here? Thank you. As it looks like there's an open road ahead.
Officer Figueroa, do you know if the officers, you can tell it's a woman, has that woman, can they tell, is the woman on the phone? Because she's been slowing down almost to a standstill, looks like at times. Can we see anything that's going on inside the vehicle?
No, we can't tell what's going on in there, and so we just don't know what's causing her to slow down or accelerate. It's something that we're working to figure that out.
So at this point, the plan is to just stay close behind this driver, and as long as she's not driving erratically, to continue to follow her, and hopefully she will pull over?
That's correct. We have as many resources that we could use for situations like this, and we're going to continue to stay behind this vehicle, and if an opportunity presents itself for us to stop it in whichever way they decide to do, then I'm sure they'll make that decision once they get there. But you can tell that the speeds aren't great. Like I said, we have as much time as we can possible to bring this to an end in a safe way.
Do you employ any traffic brakes at all to make sure that there's some distance between this driver and other vehicles? It almost looks like there's quite a stretch now.
A lot of times we do employ a traffic brake, and that's for the safety of the public. If we decide if it crashes or we do decide to stop it forcibly, then we have enough space cushion between the vehicles that are behind us, the citizens that are driving, and ourselves without placing them in a dangerous situation.
All right, Officer Figueroa with CHP, thanks so much for joining us. We want to check back in now with News Chopper 4 and Megan Reyes. And Megan, can you tell us what's going on now? Any landmarks? Where is this pursuit right now?
We're just passing the USC area off to the left side of the screen here. This is on the North 110 freeway. I'm going to kind of push in a little bit now. North 110 approaching the Santa Monica freeway. North 110, we're coming up into the heart of downtown Los Angeles. Vehicle going really slow. I'm listening to officers transmit, and they're saying the vehicle's traveling about 50 miles per hour. We have confirmed through CHP it is a solo female driver. Again, driving erratically, warranting somebody to call 911 out of Orange County, concerned for the way this person was driving. You can see that CHP vehicle off to the right shoulder over there. They're in the process of switching off central units right now. Central units from this California Highway Patrol are taking over this pursuit right now. Failure to yield out of Orange County, and now we're coming into downtown. What's the traffic look like ahead? Well, let me pull out a little. You're going to see things are bunching up. This is nothing unusual. Traffic gets a lot slower as you get closer to that Hollywood freeway. So if anything, we're not seeing this person driving radically, which is good. CHP is just kind of keeping their distance. They also have a CHP helicopter monitoring the situation from above, but at least as of right now, CHP units are just patient, following this driver, waiting for her to pull over this pursuit on the North 110 coming into downtown Los Angeles right now.
Megan, it looks like she has slowed down once again quite a bit, and obviously that's because of the traffic that's, as you mentioned, bunched up ahead of her here.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. You know, sometimes we see these drivers going really erratically, swerving in and out of traffic right now, and sometimes, you know, we don't know what the situation is. Is there a medical situation? That's what the CHP officer was referring to earlier. Maybe the person is just not aware of what's going on in their surroundings. There have been cases like that in the past where they just don't understand what's happening. So again, they're taking all these elements into consideration as to what's going to happen right now. But again, the way she's driving, she's not really actively trying to flee the officers. Yes, she's not pulling over, but again, they're not sure if this is a medical aid situation or just basically somebody saying, I'm not going to pull over and I'm just going to continue. We're on the 110 freeway northbound coming up on the 9th Street exit, and really, she's really slowing down a lot more right now, just kind of going with the flow of traffic, but things are going to get a little tougher as we come up onto the 4-level interchange.
All right, looks like she's just kind of creeping along there right now. How's it looking ahead as we get to the heart of downtown Los Angeles? Obviously, we're in the noon hour. A lot of people are out on their lunch breaks. Is it looking fairly packed there in terms of traffic?
Well, I'm looking outside the front windshield of News Chopper 4. I don't want to lose the shot here too much, but there is a lot of traffic here. It bunches up in those right lanes getting to that Hollywood freeway connector. Now, if she stays to the left lane, traffic won't be so bad, but then you'll have that other traffic that bunches up approaching the Golden State Freeway. If this person decides to transition to either direction of the Hollywood freeway, you're going to have significant delays, especially on the northbound side getting through that transition. Now, you would think that can be a precise moment where officers could try to execute some type of maneuver to stop her, maybe block her in, but again, they don't know the situation right now. I don't know what officers are planning on doing, but right now they're just following her. They've got the lights and sirens on. Everybody is yielding, doing what they're supposed to do. As we cross over, I believe that might be Wilshire Boulevard on the 110 freeway northbound. You can see LAPD unit off to the right. They're not there to take over, but maybe they can assist if necessary. But right now, CHP, they're great at what they do. They're handling this pursuit on the 110 freeway, and they want to bring this pursuit to an end as quickly as possible.
We can see, Megan, some other CHP vehicles who appear now to be coming onto the freeway. As you mentioned, they do a great job of sort of handing this chase off. Is she, no, she's still zooming ahead there. For a moment, I thought that might have been her vehicle kind of pulling over. It's a little difficult to tell sometimes with so many of these dark-colored sedans on the road.
It is, and we are monitoring, we are keeping an eye. It's that one vehicle right there, north on the 110 freeway. And again, sometimes you will see CHP officers, vehicles off to the right shoulder. They try to create a natural traffic break. They will not let vehicles onto the freeway. They want to try to minimize the amount of traffic on the freeway. Officers behind, what we don't see, are actually slowing traffic down. They're weaving back and forth so vehicles will not pass them. So they're kind of creating somewhat of a natural traffic break behind them. Northbound on this side of the 110 freeway, what officers can do at times is they will call for assistance to have officers block any transitions or any on-ramps, so that way we minimize the amount of traffic. Now, we're just passing the intersection for the Hollywood freeway, so she has committed to the North 110 freeway. Her next option will be either Stadium Way if she decides to exit off the freeway. Other than that, we'll come up on the Golden State freeway, and only time will tell what she decides to do.
All right, and what are the speeds looking like right now, Megan? I know that they've been kind of erratic. Sometimes it looks like she almost comes to a standstill, and the highest speeds that we've heard about thus far, about 60 miles per hour. What are we looking at now?
Right now, believe it or not, we're actually going with the flow of traffic. Sometimes I'm actually seeing some of the vehicles on the right side before they know a pursuit is coming up, traveling faster than she is. Now she's going a little faster, but she's only doing about 60 miles per hour. I'm listening to CHP calling out their location on the northbound side of the 110 freeway, approaching Stadium Way. And really, the speeds are not of concern right now. We'd like to see them drive at slower speeds. We don't like to see any pursuits here, but we always see them at Southern California. Sometimes we see those wicked ones where they're driving erratically. These are one of the ones that are much safer. And remember, public safety is number one concern. These officers want to make sure that this person gets pulled over safely, but in doing so, they want to make sure that no people get injured or anything happens to any of the civilians who are also on the freeway with her right now.
Megan, both you and Officer Figueroa talked about, the use of some traffic breaks to help with their job. You mentioned you saw some happening at sort of the back end of this pursuit. Do you think that's something they might employ up ahead as well? Because it does seem now like there's less traffic for her ahead.
Well, that's the great thing about it. See, they were able to probably block some of the on-ramps there to that 110 freeway, and that's why they do that. So you see just some of the traffic is left over. And really, we're also coming up into an area where there's not going to be a lot of traffic. We just crossed the number 1 tunnel on the North 110. We got 2 more tunnels to go, so now she's going to enter the second tunnel. So the next option here is going to be coming up on the Golden State Freeway, passing the number 2 tunnel here and going into the number 3. There she is right over there, and now we're going to see her come up here. Now, she goes into the left lane. She will commit to the Golden State Freeway. Actually, there's 4 tunnels, so there's the last tunnel right over there, the longest one, and then this will be the option where she can decide if she's going to continue on the North 110 or connect to the 5. And time will tell, basically. If she connects to the Golden State Freeway, they will, well, actually, we passed the Golden State Freeway, so there we go, connecting onto the northbound side. side of the 110. So right now, LAPD units are most likely notified in the northeast area. CHP letting them know we have a pursuit coming up into your neighborhood. South Pasadena is probably aware if she decides to get off the freeway in South Pasadena. And the 110 ends in Pasadena, so I wouldn't be surprised if those officers are aware of this pursuit, and they will definitely lend their assistance if this person exits the freeway. That way city officers can help the CHP once it gets into another jurisdiction.
And that's what I was going to ask you next. Yeah, as you go up the 110 there, Megan, as you had noted, it kind of it's a windy type of highway there. You have to kind of keep your speeds down, which she's been doing, but sooner or later, in about 5 to 10 minutes or so, that is where the 110 terminates in Pasadena, and then she's going to be stuck on surface streets, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to end right on Glen Arm, where you exit, where the freeway ends into Pasadena. So only time will tell. Right now, they would actually be really good if units ahead of time, and again, we don't know what they're doing. They could already be planning things. They could plan on doing some type of spike strips up ahead, but that would be a perfect opportunity to execute some type of maneuver like that. If they can block some of these on-ramps, knowing that the freeway ends, they can easily set up the spike strip.
Yeah, indeed. And Megan, we just want to let our viewers know that you're watching our continuing coverage of the CHP pursuit in Los Angeles right now. We are following this for you here on the air as well as online and on our NBC LA app.
It started in Westminster right around 12:30, so this is about a half hour right now, and it has made its way up the highway here, up 110, through downtown Los Angeles. And as NBC4's Megan Reyes has reported, this female driver who initially was driving erratically. Someone called 911 concerned about how this person was driving. Officers tried to pull her over, and she failed to stop. Well, now she's on the northbound 110, where very soon, very shortly, the 110 will terminate, and this driver will find herself on surface streets. Let's check back in now with Megan Reyes. Megan.
She's going about 40 miles per hour, according to the ground units right there on the northbound side of the 110. Next major intersection here, I believe she'll be coming up on Avenue 43 or via Marisol in that area. We are in the Highland Park area, so LAPD has their ears on this one. If it exits here in the Highland Park area, LAPD can actually assist units on the ground right now. CHP primary, because it is on the freeway, north on the 110 freeway. We just went under one of those overcrosses right there, and we are making our way into South Pasadena. So really, that's going to be the next major intersection coming up in this area. Let me pull out. I will show you what traffic looks like up ahead, north on the 110 freeway. Really, there is not much traffic. This is the Arroyo Seco portion of the 110. Not a lot of traffic on this portion of the freeway any time of the day, so that can be an advantage for CHP. Hopefully, they can try to execute some maneuver to bring this pursuit to a safe end.
You know, as Adrian mentioned, Megan, this all started with a driver calling in to say that this female driver was, driving so erratically. For the most part, though, we have seen some pretty calm freeway driving, which, if there's anything reassuring about this, is that she does not appear to be endangering the lives of others right now, at least.
Yes, and that's what makes these pursuits so dangerous, is the recklessness of these people who have no regards for the people on the streets with them. We're just passing Marmion Way north on the 110 freeway. And really, this is going to be one of the last exits to get off in the Highland Park area. So South Pasadena, it's coming to you, and then Pasadena is where this freeway ends. And most likely, she just may take it to the end. North on the 110 freeway, CHP officers telling them, telling dispatch about 50 miles per hour. But again, what caused concern at first and what alerted people was her erratic driving. Once CHP got up behind her and tried to pull her over, she failed to yield to officers. So if anything, the good news, like we've been saying, we're not seeing that crazy erratic driving. We're just seeing slow speeds north on the 110 coming up on a freeway that's relatively quiet. Coming up into South Pasadena, we should be approaching Orange Grove shortly here north on the 110.
And just a couple miles left till this freeway ends, right, Megan?
Absolutely. You got Orange Grove, and then you got Fair Oaks, and then the freeway ends. We may have some construction. I see some cones on the southbound side. Not too sure if it's on the northbound side, but at least as of right now, we're seeing some pretty good speeds here. Nothing too significant north on the 110 freeway, and we are just, that's Bridewell. That's the Bridewell exit. Just passing that exit right now. So she is going to most likely take it to where this freeway ends, and hopefully units are already set up to try to execute some type of maneuver to bring this to a safe end.
And Megan, this is somewhat uncommon in the sense that the freeway is going to end. The 110 will end very shortly. What is the possibility, or have you ever seen officers set up spike strips or blockades or barricades knowing that it's going to transition from a freeway to surface streets? Are there more options available because the speeds will have to drop speed?
Well, what they have in their advantage right now is the prediction that this freeway is ending. If they can get units up in that area of Pasadena PD, or somebody can get up in that area, they probably already made the notification. There might be officers right there ready to deploy spike strips, but it's always dangerous doing that. Officers put themselves in harm's when they do that. They put themselves in harm's way. But again, they want to bring this to a stop as quickly as possible. It looks like she may be picking up a little more speed. Now, what's going to happen is when we get into the Pasadena area, CHP officers, that's not their jurisdiction. Now, they can still be primary, but they can ask Pasadena for their assistance. We're just crossing over Fair Oaks here in South Pasadena, coming up on the Fair Oaks exit. So now she has committed to the end of the freeway. So Pasadena PD, great division down there. They can assist with the CHP and help them, and they can coordinate. And if it continues in the city of Pasadena, CHP might have them take over just because it's in their jurisdiction and they know the streets much better than the CHP. But if it goes back onto the freeway, CHP will say, this is ours again. We'll pick it back up on the freeway.
And it's important to note, if officers do decide to deploy any of these spike strips, the results are not instantaneous. So it takes some time for the vehicle to eventually stop anyway.
And that's how they are designed. You want the air to come out at a slow rate in order to minimize the possibility of a tire exploding or anything of that nature, which would cause any problems. So here we go. Freeway is ending. We don't see anybody there right now. That is Glen Arm. We have a red light here. This could be a perfect point where they can actually go up to the vehicle. But again, I don't know what's on the mind of CHP. I don't know how they want to bring this to an end. Red light. It looks like a red light just turned green. Nobody's moving. They hear all the sirens going on. They kind of don't know what to do.
The other drivers are not sure what to do.
Exactly. This is just coming up on a rear view mirror, like this vehicle right here. Where do I go? What do I do? I mean, it can be alarming sometimes when you see that up behind you, but she decided she's going to continue. And now that turns into Arroyo Parkway. So now we're on Arroyo Parkway in the city of Pasadena. I assure you, Pasadena PD is aware that this pursuit is in their neighborhood. And now what we'll probably see are some units off to the side blocking cross streets. The next major cross street, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be California. And so we may see some units up ahead blocking traffic to minimize the amount of traffic. Now, this can also be a key point where officers can execute a pit maneuver. Now, we normally don't see them on the freeway. It does happen in rare occasions. But again, when it's on surface streets and she's making a turn here and there, that can be a perfect opportunity to basically deploy or actually execute a pit maneuver. Now, she's stopping at a red light here. So let's see, officers have their doors open. They're not sure whether they're going to get out and approach the vehicle. Is this ending, or is it just because she's stopping at a red light? The light is red. We're on the Arroyo Parkway coming up on, that is Fillmore Street in Pasadena. Now, see how this officer is the K9 unit. He has his dog ready to deploy if she comes out, but I think she just stopped for a red. Going back again, everybody's shutting their doors, and they're following her in the city of Pasadena, North Arroyo Parkway, coming up on California Boulevard.
Megan, interesting to note that traffic stop there, because she did stop for the red light. Didn't appear there was any oncoming traffic that she was necessarily yielding to. She was just sort of obeying that traffic light, but obviously ignoring all the CHP and police cars behind her.
Yeah, she's basically following the traffic laws. Here we go. This is California. She's got a green, or she's got a red light here, and she is basically just kind of waiting it out. And it's a tricky situation. I mean, you at home may be saying, why don't they just run up and go and grab her? I mean, you have to treat every situation. You don't know what the suspect is wanted for. She's not pulling over. Why is she not pulling over? Again, a lot of times officers already know who this person is. They ran the license plate. They've already talked to, trying to reach out to family members or anybody who is linked to this registered vehicle. They're trying to get an insight of the frame of mind of this person. So a lot of times they don't want to just run out and yank that door open and try to provoke a situation. It is in their best interest to bring a pursuit to end safely. So right now she's really not causing any problems. Only thing is she's just not pulling over, but she's obeying all the traffic laws, which is the advantage for police following her right now.
When we talk about landmarks in terms of the pursuit, to give folks an idea of where this person is, Arroyo Parkway, again, that eventually will run into Colorado, which obviously is a main thoroughfare through the heart of Pasadena, a lot of shops and restaurants and what have you. How close are we getting to Colorado now?
Colorado's pretty much almost there. This is Del Mar. So she's stopping for the red light. I did see a motor unit from Pasadena on the southbound side, so I'm not sure if he's going to turn around to assist. So she's at Del Mar right now. While she's at that red light, I'm just going to show you Colorado Boulevard is close up ahead, but Arroyo ends. It ends, I believe that's on Union Street up in that area, right by Pasadena PD. So there's really no doubt in my mind that Pasadena PD is already having their officers to deploy to basically assist. We haven't seen any officers yet. Cars are making a left turn right here. This guy's not sure if he should turn or not. I mean, again, these people are just driving every day, and all of a sudden, here comes the pursuit. They don't know what to do. Do they pull over? Do they stay where they are? CHP always urges motorists, if you cannot pull over safely to the right shoulder, just stay in your lane. They are highly trained. They can maneuver around the vehicles. But you see how they get out right now? It's almost like a game on what she's going to do. The light is green, but she has not moved right now.
Here
light
she
turns
goes,
green.
yeah.
Here she goes. So see, all these guys, now they got to run back to the car, get back in the car, and go back and follow her. So again, we're not seeing erratic speed, so that's one of the safer things about this particular pursuit. There's some people on the roof watching the pursuit there above New Balance, seeing this coming into their city. So we're going to come up here shortly to Colorado Boulevard. That is the heart of Pasadena. Here we go. Probably going to do a pit maneuver right here. They're like, this is enough. We're going to bring this to an end. And this is the perfect time. You know, she may be going too slow. It might be a little difficult, but if she starts increasing her speeds, that CHP officer is going to do everything he or she can to bring this to a safe end.
Yeah, Megan, it seems like a pit maneuver would be the time to do it now where the street's a little bit wider, but here we are with more traffic again.
Right, so here we go. Same story again. This is Green Street. Green Street is a one-way, so the only way she can go is right, but by the way she has been driving, she's most likely just going to continue straight. So same story again. You know, officers are kind of not going to, you know, they understand she's probably going to go when the light turns green. You can see them standing there actively getting ready if they need to get out of the vehicle. But she's proceeding through Green Street, north on the 110. CHP going to get up really close. I think he's going to bring this one to an end. Here it goes. Get ready for that pit maneuver on the right side, turning that vehicle around. This is northbound Arroyo, just north of Green Street, just south of Colorado Boulevard. We're going to reposition News Chopper 4. Felony stop right now. They have their guns drawn, basically summoning her to come out of the vehicle, and we'll see if she decides to comply. Hopefully she will, so everybody can, you know, pretty much call this situation code 4 and it being over with.
That was a classic pit maneuver. I mean, the way that was executed was just perfect, the way it should be, and now she is facing this car. Can we see if her hands, are they both still on the wheel?
Well, I do see her hands. The reason why I'm pushing in a little is because I can see her hands. You know, this is a delicate situation. You see, it looks like she's opening the door. They are summoning the directions, telling her to open up the door. Usually they want her to do it from the outside, and they want her to toss the keys out. That's very important right now. Her widows are up, so that's probably why she didn't open the door from the outside. They are yelling at her to drop your keys, but she's coming out hands up, so that's good. You know, she's obeying officers. And again, we don't know the situation. Could this be a medical aid situation? Could somebody be confused, having a medical problem right now? She doesn't appear to be violent. She's showing her hands, saying, okay, here, my hands, what's going on? But, you know, the fact that she was just obeying all the traffic laws, they're treating this different. They're not making her get on the ground, just walk slowly to us. They're making this, well, that's another thing. They want her to turn around and make sure she doesn't have any weapons. But really, for the most part, you know, they are very cautious about this, but I don't think they're elevated with the risk right now with this lady because the way they're apprehending her. Very nicely, they're putting the handcuffs on her, and most importantly, they're going to make sure medically she is okay. But right now, I can tell you this pursuit came to a safe end in the city of Pasadena. This is on northbound Arroyo, just before Colorado Boulevard. Now, even though they said there was only one person in that car, it will be officially over once they clear that vehicle and make sure there's no other people in there, and that's what these two officers are doing right now.
Hey, Megan, we appreciate your great coverage for us in News Chopper 4. You know, terrific to see these come to an end with no one injured, but you can also see just how many resources were put toward this, which is always disturbing to see, you know, the amount of police, CHP, it takes to bring something like this to an end.
Yeah, counting at least 6 CHP vehicles there as those officers check the suspect's vehicle right now. Of course, this started just about 45 minutes ago in Westminster when someone called and reported a erratic driver. Again, this pursuit went at slow speeds, 40 to 60 miles per hour, before finally ending here in Pasadena on Arroyo, just north of Green.